Morning, Shavua Tov, Gotavach. Thanks for tuning in to Kila Chari Torah's daily review of Maimonides' 613 mitzvahs, the Sefer HaMitzvot, for Sunday, January 30th. We're now reviewing a list of prohibitions which are applicable in our time. We went through all the 613 mitzvahs. Of course, there are a number of those which cannot be practiced at the moment because we're living outside of Israel. The temple is not standing, so in particular, the laws of the temple are not practicable. We look forward to a day when those will once again become very relevant to us in practice. Now they are very relevant to us in theory. In other words, we learn them, and we understand their messages, and look forward to implementing them with our hands. In the meantime, we have some 200 prohibitions listed here that we're going through one by one, just to keep track of what prohibitions we should be observing even in our times until we're restored to our homeland as it's supposed to be. Prohibition number 37, we're forbidden from shaving the temples of our heads. So if you notice, there are some people, some Jews, who are particular to leave a great amount of hair here on the temples of their heads. Sometimes they grow long and they curl around. The name for the corners of the head is the pe'ah, or peyot, or payas. So those side curls, as sometimes they're mentioned in the Anglo literature, are a sign of scrupulous observance of that mitzvah. That's related to the mitzvah of the prohibition of shaving the temples of our heads, is to make sure that that hair grows long. Sometimes people even will get such a short haircut, you can see the skin, but they'll be certain to leave the payas, leave the corners there in observance of this mitzvah. Next, prohibition, shaving the beard. You'll notice some of us are very particular about that. Some encounter the prohibition in different ways with electric razors, with chemical depilatories and such. Happy to have that conversation if anybody would like more details about that. Making cuttings in our flesh. We're not supposed to cut into our flesh. I know that some people do that in our day and age out of mental anguish, and that certainly should be dealt with by a professional, but we're forbidden from making any cuttings into our flesh. Forbidden to settle in the land of Egypt. We're not supposed to settle permanently in Egypt once we were delivered from there. We're forbidden to accept opinions contrary to those taught in Torah. So if you take a philosophy class in the university and they tell you that God really doesn't exist, it's a construct in people's minds, or it's something that people agreed on or made up, don't buy it, don't believe it. We accept as truth what Torah tells us. Maybe a nice, interesting opinion, what science or the secular world has to teach us, but we know the eternal truths of Torah from the Torah itself. We're forbidden from showing mercy to idolaters. Not supposed to show any rahmanas to those who practice idolatry. We're forbidden from intermarrying with heretics, with non-believers, with people who don't practice Judaism as it's supposed to be. We're forbidden from destroying fruit trees during a siege, and that, of course, extends to all kinds of wasting. The general prohibition we spoke about, we talked about bal tashchis, about not to destroy, not to cause wanton destruction. So, of course, the mitzvah derives from the book of Deuteronomy, as we discussed then. We're not supposed to destroy fruit-bearing trees during a siege, because when the war is over, you'll need the fruit. That extends, of course, to any wasteful practices. We are forbidden to forget what Amalek did to us. We'll carry that out in a very full sense when we come to Purim in just about 6 weeks. We're forbidden from blaspheming God's great name, take God's name in vain. And the next several mitzvot of violating, we're forbidden to violate a shvuas bitui or a shvuas shav, various kinds of oaths, vows that a person may take, which we discussed in their place, are forbidden to us. And we're also forbidden to cause a chilul Hashem, to profane the great name of God. Okay, we'll stop there for today. Please join us again tomorrow. Remember that tonight, no, not tonight. Tomorrow is Erev Rosh Chodesh. So tomorrow afternoon we omit Tachnun. Tomorrow morning still Tachnun, tomorrow evening not. Have a good day, a good week, a good Chodesh. We'll see each other tomorrow in Mirza Hashem.